So thank you so much, Imperium, for having me come today. Today we're going to just talk a little bit about the group dynamic, different things that are going on within the company, and how we can help you grow as a company and achieve your goals. So first of all, we have Colin, we have you, Krista, and then we also have you, Nate, who are all part of this company, who each have their individual different roles. But I just wanted to take a second, have you guys reflect, but also to think, who are you in the company? So Colin, I'll start with you first, and Colin's going to explain how he's part of the analytics and how he's helping make sure that his portion of the company is getting out on the internet, and the projects that they're working on, that they show up on Google sites and stuff like that. Now, Krista, I wanted to just ask your opinion, and you can make it up. Mm-hmm. What is your role as the financial advisor here within the company?
Well, it's all about numbers. If we don't track every expense and every statistic, then we really don't know what's going on. A human brain is going to make us think something like with our personal bank accounts. If we don't really know the numbers, we have a picture that's not accurate in our head. So my job is to make sure I'm getting people to tell me the numbers, and that I'm then able to put that in a way that we can make some what-if decisions. So what if we raise that by 2%? What's that going to do for us? Instead of what if we reduce that by 2%? What's that going to do for us?
Okay, perfect. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. And then Nate, I wanted to ask you, what are some things that you do, or what's your importance as technically the CEO of this company? And he's going to say something along the lines of, making sure that the projects get done. He's making sure that all the coding's done properly and that images look well, and just doing that final last review of everything that goes out before the client. He's also going to be working with the client, and the list goes on and on for the things that he does. So I just wanted to thank you guys for sharing that. That'll really help me understand a little bit more of what this company is trying to do. But each individual, you three, Colin, Krista, and Nate, are doing to better this company. So now I want to take this question a little bit deeper. I just asked recently what you guys were doing. And what you do for yourselves. But now I want to ask, what are your expectations for yourself in this position? So I'm going to ask Colin. Colin, what are your expectations to make sure that those analytics are there? And he's going to express that he wants to make sure that when those certain keywords are typed in, that those will be the first things popped up in Google. That when they rate each site, that they are an A-grade site. So now, Krista, what do you expect from yourself here at the company and when you come into work?
Well, I think having a routine is really good, like numbers are due at this time, and then I'm going to work on interpreting those at this time, and then I'm going to be making my reports at this particular time. There's 20 days in a working month, right? Mm-hmm. And how am I going to allocate that with school and everything else?
Perfect.
So that you can expect, like, I have that time set aside, and those three different roles. I've got to get the numbers, I got to interpret the numbers, and I got to present what those numbers mean.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Nate, I wanted to ask you the same thing, and Nate's going to say something along the lines of how he wants to make sure that his customers are happy, that he has a name for his company. They've worked with a lot of different companies, and such as the hospital and a very larger company over in Illinois, and he just wants to make sure that, one, that he can continue to do business with them, that he can gain a better reputation, and that he can continue to receive that he can continue to do the things that or please his customers, that they in the end are happy with what's going on.
Yeah, because you're the web guy, dude.
Most definitely. So then next, this might be a little bit more personal question, and I'm going to go each individually. But I want each one to take a few seconds, but to think, what do you, so for example, Krista, what do you expect that Nate accomplishes? what do you expect that Colin accomplishes? And if you feel comfortable, if you could please respond with that.
Yeah, I think, when you're producing something, it always takes longer than you think it is. So what I really want to see is set times that you're going to work on it, and then also that you have really good project management, that you're accurately projecting how long it is, because when it takes longer, it costs more. And there's also a principle that when we trust each other, we know that we're going to do what we say we're going to do when we say we're going to do it, then our trust can go up. And when trust goes up, everything gets done a lot faster and costs us less. But when there's, oh, you didn't do it then, or you didn't meet that target for any of us, right? Then you start to mistrust me, or I start to mistrust you just a little bit, and that slows things down and it costs more. So I think for all three of us, what I want of the others, and would expect of myself as well, is that I'm doing what I say I'm going to do when I say I'm going to do it, and I'm accurately projecting now, so that when something isn't met, it's a very occasional thing, not the norm.
Perfect. And then, Colin, I want to ask you the same thing. Krista has kind of touched upon a lot of the different stuff that deals with numbers and how she wants to make sure that things are the most cost effective. But Colin, how do you see or what do you expect from Krista and also Nate here in the business? And he's going to express just making sure that things are getting done on time, that he has all the information that he needs to research, to learn, and to make sure that everything else is going on. Okay, thank you, Colin. I appreciate that. And now, Nate, I wanted to ask you the same question. And Nate is then going to express timeliness and unity within the workplace. And he's going to express that in the sense of he understands that we all have stuff going on. He understands, Krista, you recently did just get married. And he understands that, Colin, you work here, you have another full-time job, and you are going to school full-time. We are all busy. We all have our stuff going on. However, we need to realize that, but we need to understand that work is work. And he's going to mention, Colin and Krista, I understand that you guys have your differences right now. But when you guys fight and argue, and when you guys have your differences, our other employees will see that in the workplace. They will then become upset. They will then feel uncomfortable and not know who to work with. You're basically asking them to choose sides, and we don't want that here within our workplace, just because we still are a newer company. We have two employees just under us, so there's just 5 of us. And when we meet in this room, the room kind of the size of this, and there's tension, things get rough.
I feel it.
And Krista, another thing that Nate's gonna mention is he wants you to be timely with what you're doing. You're in charge of finances, you're in charge of taxes. When things don't get done on time, we can be fined even more. We can even possibly go to jail. This is no longer student support. This is no longer a dream. This is an actual business. We have legal documents that we need to uphold to and adhere to.
Okay.
So now I want you guys to talk amongst yourselves. You've mentioned your different expectations and things that you want to accomplish here in the company, but what you see for yourself. But I want you guys now to look at the things that you've talked about and discuss amongst yourselves what your common goals are here at Imperium.
Well, the main thing is to get websites ready for customers, right? And then my role is to make sure that I do get those things in on time that have to do with the money end and paying the employees and billing the client.
Most definitely. And so they're going to talk about all their different goals, and that's one thing that I'm very unaware of right now is what their complete goals are individually. So what I kind of shared is what I know.
Is your hope kind of there to find out whether Krista wants to be there long term, or once they're graduated, they're gone, or?
So she's already graduated.
Okay.
Krista is already graduated, and Nate does understand that. However, there is that tension between Krista and Colin right now, and so they They do all have common goals.
Mhm.
Nate is aware of that. He has common goals to them. But I'm trying to help them realize that they're all in the same boat. And instead of trying to bump heads, help them realize. So they're going to talk about their common goals now. And then I'm going to pull up this and talk about mission statements.
Okay.
And that's where I'm going to now, so
you're at 10 minutes, which is fine, but you need to renegotiate with them the time because the real talking is going to take a lot, twice as much as it does, and you still want to do mission statements. So go ahead.
So mission statements, I just wanted to bring up that definition. So it's a formal summary of the aims and values of a company, organization, or individual. You guys will each have your own mission statement within this company, but we also need to bring that together and make sure that it's a mission statement that is in unity with the company, individually and in the company. So now talking about that, I wanted to bring up a couple examples, such as Wells Fargo. Their mission statement was what's right for our customers in everything we do. However, they had some problems with that. A couple years ago, they got in trouble. Even though this was their mission statement, they found certain bankers who were making different accounts, which was unfair to the customers and unfair to the bankers as well because they were not being honest.
Yeah. It was a big deal.
Another thing is lumber liquidators, and theirs was focus on meeting the highest standards of safety like no other flooring company in the country. However, a couple years ago as well, even though this was their mission statement, they got caught for having certain chemicals within their lumber that were very harmful. So just because we have a mission statement doesn't mean anything. However, we want to make sure that our mission statement is shown to everyone, whether it be individually between you three or with the other employees as well, but also with the companies that you're going to be working with. So right now, we've talked a lot about your different goals, your common goals that you have here within the company. You guys want to grow. You want to thrive. You don't plan on selling in a year or buying out. You guys plan to stay here, help build this company, and achieve the potential that it has. So we're going to talk a little bit about creating a mission statement, not only for your guys' selves, but also for the company. So first of all, we're going to need to know your personality, whether it's you or whether it's for the company. So what is that personality? And I want you guys to think about that while we continue to talk about that. What is your personality, or what is the company's personality? Then we have know your value. What is the value of the company? What value do you add to the company? And then know your interests and passions. What are the interests and passions that you guys have within this company? We've already discussed a little bit of you've learned things through already some of these other projects that you've worked on, and you've expressed that to me, and how you now understand that, you know, after this one contract, you won't be doing other contracts like that in the future. Know your strengths, talents, and skills. Like you guys said, you guys all are able to recognize your talents and skills. You know you have talents and skills, and each three of you can see that in each other. So it's important to recognize those as well. And lastly, we need to write our whole mission statement. So what I want to do is we need to figure out your core ideology. The reason being is, let's take, for example, Apple. Apple is a great company, and they started off fantastic. You know, they started making all these computers and all this new technology. What happened for a little bit is they got caught in a rut because they lost their core ideology. They lost their mission statement. They lost what they were trying to accomplish. And because of that, they weren't able to achieve the great things. Now, when they remembered that and were reminded of that and everyone else got behind it again, look at what they've done. And that's what I want for you guys. So then that's when I'm going to go in and just sit down with them, and if they have time, because I've talked to Nate and he's aware that this is going to be a longer presentation.
Okay,
so,
and that's probably more helpful for them instead of just coming in and say, this is what a mission statement is, and this is cool, right? And
so then I'll, if they're up to it, Colin and Krista, I'll sit down with all three of them and help them write. At least get some ideas down about a mission statement.
Same day?
Yep.
Okay. And how will you What will you do to help them write their mission statement?
So I talked about
Those values and things
those
like that.
those.
So, like, will you have a piece of paper and you have them write it
Yeah.
down? And
Yeah, so I'm going to provide them all with paper. So kind of during it, they'll be able to write stuff down and whatnot. But if that doesn't work out, I can just pull it up on my iPad and I can write stuff down for them and then just send it on over to them before I leave.
Okay. All right. Have you